Well, it looks like someone broke the internet. Hello again there, friends and fans. Raptor here, and yes, indeed, you knew it would happen. Farming Sim 25 via Giant Software has been confirmed. This time, a more primary focus on Asia, which is very interesting because now they've also angled in the possibility of dangerous weather. Welcome aboard, and good to see you all here for the drop trailer, the release trailer, the hype trailer, the teaser trailer, whatever you want to say, for Farming Sim 25, releasing later this year in November. Very exciting to see Asia now, as I've been hoping to see for a very long time, and many have speculated that rice and other products of the region will finally be something that we can harvest in Farming Sim, and that also does mean that we'll be seeing some Asian vehicle manufacturers too for both farming equipment, harvesting, sowing, whatnot, and also those techniques, much more than just rice too. Now I'm also expecting that we'll see the classics return again in Farming Simulator, like for example the Erlengrad, well, however you pronounce it, the Swiss map, and many of the other ones in America as well, and hopefully we get some other classics to return. But also Farming Sim, I think, needs to sell a lot more than just, hey, we have rice now as Farming Sim 25, as where the previous versions have included building your own farm, logging for the first time, and some massive vehicles and DLCs, as well as huge projects like building roller coasters and whatnot. I hope this game, as it shows with the water pumping of the rice paddies, has a lot more to offer for us to do outside of vehicles too, as well as, well, now we actually have dirt bikes or mopeds or other like bicycle type vehicles to drive around. Maybe there'll be other things like that, but very exciting to see now that we've got a beautiful new landscape or new region that is unlocked to be able to go and cultivate and farm, and that hopefully brings in more architecture and different building styles that we haven't yet seen before. Farming Sim has gone many places, and mods have basically brought us everywhere too, including other planets, but we've primarily seen like Germany, France, Scandinavia, Great Britain, United States, and Canada many times, and it's good to see something so refreshing and so far from the Western markets to see how things are done there. But yet also, of course, you can't really ignore that people are going to still want to drive Massey Fergusons and Case Internationals in the Western Hemisphere as well. In fact, the Netherlands, of course, is another location from previous builds of Farming Sim. So very excited to see yet another Farming Sim coming down the pipe. Now, every time they announce a new one, I know there's people who always say, well, I'm not going to get the new one, I'm going to stick with the old one for a while, and that's totally fine. And then once mods start to drop, then of course people come over to the dark side, the new game. But I'm really happy to see what they will do, or excited to see what they'll do with the seasons. Obviously they're showing weather with a large lightning storm when they're trying to take pictures, and also of course possibilities are endless for production, as that is now kind of the new thing for Farming Sim, is more into the production chains of starting with your possible of rice farms, and then maybe buying perhaps a factory to then turn that into packaged rice or bagged rice, and then selling that, as well as a variety of other products too. So for example, you'd have a sawmill. That sawmill then would cut logs into planks, and then you buy the furniture factory that turns those things into furniture, and then maybe you could buy something like a furniture store or sell directly to the market, however that works. But really excited to see them expand upon Farming Sim. Again, the possibilities are endless here for new equipment, other new regions, and there hopefully will be more surprises for Farming Sim in the future as we get a little closer to the November release date. Now I'm expecting that we're still going to see the typical 16 player build your own farm if you'd like to type thing, with different varying difficulties, where it also seems to be centered around console, where it does seem to be more of a console friendly game. And even though I play on PC, I really do enjoy using controllers and joysticks and not having a keyboard unless I have to. There is certain equipment that's easier that way, but I hope that the new Farming Sim certainly includes things like GPSs and built-in things that are day one mods. For all the other Farming Sim games, there's always some mods that everyone always wants to get the moment that they're available, and I hope that there's going to be now more baked-in mods into the game that make it so you don't necessarily want to mod the game anymore, because, or at least as much, for the basic features, but only for new vehicles and maps, because a lot of cool stuff that already exists for farmers is already there. So yeah, at the end of the trailer we see bread, we see rice, we see the chicken. Of course, chickens are nothing new, but perhaps we'll have different ways to take care of chickens, and you know what I mean, take care of chickens, as in like maybe we'll have different markets to bring them to, and things to sell them for. That'd be interesting. Anyway, let's go ahead and watch the uninterrupted trailer for Farming Sim 25, and I want to come on back and talk a little bit more about the game. Let's go.
all around the world. Farmers know farming is an art. Like life, we know it can be hard. And it can be surprising, too. But sometimes it's about being at the right place at the right time. A wise man once said that the best lessons are learned under the wide open sky. I think the same thing can be said about our art. Yeah, it can be messy, but it's always beautiful. So beautiful it can help you see yourself and the world in all new ways. In the art of farming, the soil is the canvas, the seeds are the paint, and the harvest is the masterpiece.
Hey, this is pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty darn good. Is it missing something? You're too cute to eat. Maybe some fresh spinach for a change?
Well, there it is. Every time a new farming sim comes around, I'm really excited to play with friends again and get behind the wheel of equipment and play in real time, actual one-to-one realism. And it's really fun to be able to use everybody's different skills to try to come together to make an operating farm. Other people are good at harvesting or maybe doing baling or really interested in taking care of the animals. And with all my friends, it's really cool to see everybody shine and work together to make more money to buy more equipment. It's really one of the best games out there. It's a very simple concept, but it's gone from being kind of a laughable game like farming, that's so boring, to literally being along the same lines as Microsoft Flight Sim. If you get everybody working like a well-oiled machine and using radio commands and other things like that to show up at the right place, right time, you've almost got a army of people working to get the job done and just to have fun. And so big thanks to everyone who's ever joined me before for Farming Sim, well, all the way back to 2013 is when I first started playing, and it's been delightful to see the game improve. I feel like there were a few years where it was almost stagnant, but honestly, after 2020 with you-know-what happening, a lot of people staying home and playing a ton of games, and really the developers were kind of hindered at maybe releasing a new game because everything was uncertain, and so they went with more DLCs, and I think that was great because it really allowed for more time in the same game, which allowed for more mods and familiarity with everybody having to just own one game and being able to just download mods for that one game rather than switching every couple years. So hopefully this means that we have a longer life cycle for Farming Sim, and hopefully there are bigger DLCs along the way where they're optional to buy. Rather than buying a new game, you can get some DLCs that you're interested in really, and others that you're just not as interested in, you can kind of skip. But regardless, I think it's one of the best modding communities out there, and I don't think I've ever seen a game as modded as Farming Simulator aside from Skyrim and GTA that are just gargantuan in comparison. But for simulators, Farming Sim and Microsoft Flight Sim are probably two where there's just a crazy amount of love and respect for the profession, and really people just wanting to see realistic models, realistic sounds, lighting, higher graphic fidelity and stuff like that. We'll have yet to see, of course, some of the other features coming down the line, what types of manufacturers will be here, and what types of things that will make this one different and set it apart, aside from what's obvious right in the bat of being able to see the Asian markets and the different types of crops that would be grown there. But I really hope to see beautiful large villages, and I'm not exactly sure where they're trying to portray here, but it really could be anywhere from Vietnam, China, Japan, but I would love to see people making maps for those locations and having things like smaller K-trucks and different types of vehicles be used to fit those roads and to fit those products that are needed and are used. So to be able to see different types of trains, telephone poles, road types. I mean, this is big. We've always seen Western Europe, and honestly, there is quite a bit of a difference between German architecture and French, but the roads and a lot of the assets could be reused to trick the mind. But here I feel like something must be built for the first time from the ground up, and I'm really excited about worlds in games. In terms of exploring like an open world game, this is certainly an open world game where you can start with whatever field you like, and of course everybody likes to hack in money every once in a while to then be able to afford enough equipment so everyone can join. We've done that countless times, and other creators do too, so everybody can test out a new piece of equipment and to be able to see, you know, how it exactly works and if it's worth it when it comes to DLCs or other mods to showcase things. So for Farming Sim, I'm glad to see this one breathing life into the old game again. I'm sure a lot of people will rush back to the previous Farming Sim and play it, and I know I will too, and I really hope that then the modding community gets ready again to make yet another migration over to yet another new game, although I will say that the developers have gotten really good at being accommodating for mods and to try to communicate what the differences are, and I'm really hoping to see a lot more smaller size vehicles and smaller size jobs so people can work in 2 or 3 teams, and so that way people don't have to have 16 players on in order to have a big wheat harvest. You can get 3 or 4 people working on a rice harvest and have a lot of fun with that. So certainly a lot to do, a lot to cover in Farming Sim. Yes, indeed, 25 coming soon. I can't believe it. And I thought we would have to wait a lot longer. I didn't think we would randomly just see a Farming Sim announcement today. But man, 2024, 2025, and hopefully 2026 are going to be great years for gaming. Some of my favorite games of the last year have they've blown me away with their initial trailer. They've come out, I've enjoyed them, they get DLCs and updates, and they're absolutely outstanding. So hopefully we continue to get real bangers that may be a niche audience, but something for everyone who is in that audience to enjoy. This is great for parents, grandparents, children, everybody to play together, families and friends, and to do so in a cooperative manner. It's a really outstanding game, and I hope to see you in it. Alright, thank you very much everybody for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for hitting that like button, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.